If you were a kid in the early 2000s in India, like me, then you probably grew up watching the channel Cartoon Network. The 90s and the early 2000s were basically the golden age of cartoons in India, with shows like Beyblade, Digimon, Pokemon, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Powerpuff Girls gracing our screens. I see the shows kids are watching here these days and weep. But that's a topic for another video. What I want to talk about today is an anime series millennials and older Gen Zs may vaguely remember from their childhoods, about a young girl with a cute little teddy bear companion who went around catching pretty cards. Does that ring a bell? Cardcaptor Sakura aired on Cartoon Network in India sometime between 2001 and 2005. I searched online but I couldn't find any exact dates. I don't remember a lot about the show from that time, just that I used to watch it before going to school while I was eating my breakfast, and that I had the hugest crush on a character called Lee, and of course, that all I wanted for my birthday during those years was a set of glow cards and Sakura stuff. I also remember that Sakura used to wear some of the prettiest dresses I've ever seen in my life. I looked it up now, and apparently, the creator of Cardcaptor Sakura thought that it was kind of sad that all the famous magical girls at the time, like Sailor Moon, wore the same dresses every day. And she didn't want Sakura to have the same restrictions. Thus, Sakura's rich friend Tomoyo, who supplied her with all of her amazing outfits, was born. And we were treated to some of the best anime outfits I've ever seen till date. I recently started watching Cardcaptor Sakura again on Netflix, and even though I'm only 20 episodes in, I was surprised to see the number of interesting things that I never noticed when I originally watched the show. Not really that surprising, I guess, given I was only 5 at the time, but it's still extremely weird, some of the things that made it into the show, especially considering that it was a kids' show. But then again, I'm watching it in the original Japanese right now with English subtitles, and apparently the English translation watered down some of the more controversial topics in the show. So that's probably why the weirdness didn't really fully register in my head at the time. Anyway, without further ado, here are some of the things that you may have missed when you watched Cardcaptor Sakura as a child. Rika Sasaki is one of Sakura's classmates who appears often in the series, and the thing she is most well known for is, wait for it, her romantic relationship with her class teacher. Let that sink in. Well, at least we now know where we all got our student teacher fetish from. No, just me. Anyway, the relationship is shown to be more one sided in the anime. Rika clearly has a crush on her teacher, Terada sensei, but he's mostly shown being oblivious to her feelings. It is still pretty uncomfortable to watch scenes where they keep looking at each other shyly in class while he's teaching her and her friends, and the little, clearly romantic moments that they share together, like when she gives him a teddy bear and he names it after her. Again, this is an 11-year-old child and a 20 something adult man we are talking about. And it gets even worse in the manga the show is adapted from, where apparently they end up getting engaged and later married. Excuse me while I barf. In the show, Sakura lives with her archaeologist dad and her older brother Toya. Her mom died when she was 3, and so we don't really see much of her. In episode 10, however, we find out an extremely unsettling fact about the relationship between Sakura's parents. They met when Sakura's mother was 16 and still in school, while her father was a school teacher there. What is it with this show's obsession with student teacher relationships? I'm just glad that my mom never sat down to watch this show with me because that shit would never fly with her. Many of you probably remember Sioran Lee, Sakura's rival slash main love interest, and probably the love interest of many of the young Indian girls who used to watch the show, including me. Something interesting I found out about him during my second watch is that the character is actually Chinese, which is glaringly obvious now with that outfit and his name. That, however, is not what we are here to discuss right now. What I want to talk about is the sometimes not so subtle LGBT plus representation in the series. Yes, that's right. A kids animated series which aired in India way back in the early 2000s had LGBT plus characters. Like I said, the English translation was really watered down, but it isn't like they could change the animation itself, and despite what the characters said in English, It's hard to miss the very obvious romantic cues from some of the characters. A good example of this is Lee's crush on Sakura's elder brother's best friend Yukito, who Sakura also happens to have a crush on. And during Lee's first few episodes, you can see him often blushing madly and abruptly running away whenever Yukito is around. He also gives Yukito chocolates during Valentine's Day and is often seen competing with Sakura for Yukito's affections. Of course, Lee falls for Sakura later on, and it is revealed later that Lee was actually attracted to the magic energies of the moon, whose guardian is Yukito. But I mean, come on, it's still pretty gay, and I am here for it. Many of you probably remember Sakura's best friend in the series, a black haired girl called Tomoyo. Now, Tomoyo's character is written very interestingly. In addition to being Sakura's closest friend, it is clear that she cares deeply for Sakura, maybe even more than Sakura cares for her, to the point that it could seem like obsession at times. In the manga, it is pretty obvious that Tomoyo is a lesbian, or at least bi, like when Tomoyo and Sakura exchange I love yous, but then Tomoyo tells her that the meaning behind Sakura's love for her is probably different from hers. However, her sexual orientation is left very ambiguous in the anime, although it is pretty obvious at times that her feelings for Sakura are more than platonic. Tomoyo loves Sakura unconditionally, even if it is portrayed under the guise of just friendship in the show, and I personally believe that Tomoyo would probably have had been a better romantic partner for Sakura than Lee, but we can't have everything, I guess. Probably the most well-known canon LGBT plus couple in the show, Toya and Yukito are everyone's favorite CCS ship. Toya is Sakura's elder brother and Yukito is his best friend. At first. Like I said, I have only watched the first 20 episodes till now, but I can already see the very obvious chemistry between those two, and I was so happy to learn that they really do become a couple later on in the show. Of course, like all anime from the time, the implications of those two being in a relationship are pretty vague, but they're definitely there, and I don't want to speak on it until I have finished rewatching the entire show. So please subscribe if you want to hear me talk about that in another video. So, did you remember any of the things I mentioned when you last watched Cardcaptor Sakura? Which did you find most interesting? And should I make a part 2 after finishing the series? Comment your thoughts below and please like and subscribe.